Yo, what is going on, guys? We are back today for the second episode of this series, I guess. The top 5 champions in each class. So, the first episode we did was on the mutant class, which was a lot of fun. Mutant class was stacked, and a lot of really good champions didn't get to make the list, like Colossus, like Strife. And these guys would have been close seconds, well, 6th, 7th, after the top 5. Professor X as well. And today we're gonna have an even maybe more controversial. Yeah, this is definitely gonna be more controversial. The tech class. So the tech class is an interesting one. Honestly, tech's it's been one of my favorite classes. It became my favorite when this champion right here came out, Stark Spidey. So first of all, honorable mention to this guy because he is my favorite champion in the game. I wouldn't even be here recording this video right now if it wasn't for this character. Like, this character is literally big part of the reason my channel like blew up. And I used him to win the first tournament I went to for this game, which in turn made my channel blow up more. All because of this character. I love this guy literally so much. I owe a great debt to Stark Spider-Man that I'll never be able to pay back. So love this guy, but unfortunately he's not a top 5. So yeah, without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into the list. So coming in at number 5, the number 5 best tech champion in the game, again in Legacy's opinion here, is Ultron. So Ultron is very interesting, man. I slept on this guy for a long time after his buff. He was bugged, and I played with him when he was bugged, and I was like, oh my god, like, this is absurdly broken. And I remember at the time, I was like, if I make a video on this, he's gonna get nerfed probably pretty soon. It'll be changed. And at the time, I just did not feel like being the guy that, got Ultron fixed. So I didn't do anything about it. I just sat on the gameplay. And months and months and months went by, and then Kabam finally fixed it. And that's when I released the video showing that damage that I was doing when it was bugged. And that was a while ago. But after all of that, I've just heard amazing things about Ultron after he was fixed. And so I have a tech path in AQ, map 8, every single day. And I used to use Guillotine 2099 for it. But then I started using Ultron for it. And dude, he absolutely crushes it. I use Ultron like every day in AQ, and I've fallen in love with this character so much, man. One of the best buffs. I'm very excited. I have a new series coming where I'm going to be doing gameplay, like a video dedicated to a champion that's been buffed. And then basically at the end of the video, I'm going to give them a rating out of 10 to say like how good this buff has been, in my opinion. And the benchmark for the scale, like a 10 is like a Magneto level buff. And I don't think Ultron is quite a Magneto level buff, but it's pretty darn good. Ultron, he hits hard now. That was always one of the biggest problems with this guy, is just he hit like a noodle, even with the suicide masteries. So they gave him good damage. So that's great. Against every normal champions, he bleeds them, and against mutants, it's degen. So that's nice. No mutants are immune to degen. His regen is insane at 50% and 25% thresholds. You get just such fat regen. It's guaranteed. It's so nice, man. It's so nice. You have guaranteed armor up buffs just whenever you parry. Max Sig is actually very, very good for Ultron. Mine's only Sig 20 here. You can see incoming Incinerate and Shock effects suffer minus 33% duration. I think at Sig 200, this goes up to like 80% or something, or maybe even higher. Let me take a quick look at my 5-star Ultron. Where are you, buddy? 140. What's he at right now? Yeah, it's 66. Do I have extra Sig stones? Yeah, totally. Totally. I can throw away all these Sig stones. It doesn't matter. Why not? Let's see what this gets to. Sig 200, and that is, yeah, minus 80%. So that's kind of like a pseudo immunity for Ultron, which is really nice. And then, of course, he already has immunity to bleed and poison. So bleed and poison full immunities. Incinerate and Shock at Sig 200, like pseudo immunities. He's immune to slow as well, which is cool. He has a guaranteed evade that's very easy to use, and just the damage output is great. And it makes Ultron just such a wonderful character. I'm so happy this guy got the buff that he deserves. And yeah, man, I really love Ultron. I think he's so perfect too for developing accounts. I think there's so much that this Ultron can do. Save you so many just items and potions because of his regen. I love that regen. It's so nice in AQ, man. So yeah, Ultron coming in at number 5, dude. Love this guy. Okay, coming in at number 4 for the best tech champions in the game. This is where it gets hard, man, because these next 4 tech champions are all really good. So here's the order I'm going to be putting them in. I have Warlock coming in at the number 4 spot. So Warlock, one of my very first rank 4s. I think he was my second or third. I think he was my third. I think I did Kitty Torch Warlock. Or is it Kitty Warlock Torch? No, it was Kitty Torch Warlock. Yeah, so he was my third rank 4. First rank 4 tech champ. And I think I had a 3 to 4 tech gem, which was why, so I kind of had to use it. And Warlock, at the time, I don't think I had Nimrod or Omega Sentinel. And I wanted to do Omega Sentinel because of her prestige. But I decided to go with Warlock. Now, the reason I took Warlock to rank 4, you might think that's kind of weird. And it was at the time. Like, no one really had a rank 4 Warlock when I did it. It was Battlegrounds. Warlock was just an absolute MVP for me in Battlegrounds. Offensively, defensively, he's just putting in work. And I was like, I should just take this guy to rank 4. Because Warlock is always going to be good. I think Warlock has the title of the best heal blocker in the game. I think so, because like, it's not even a heal block. Like, the only weakness that Warlock has is really heavy buffed up opponents, because then his infection just falls off really quickly. But, you know, the high amount of buffs is typically attributes of Cosmic Champions. For the most part, you don't really want to bring tech champs against Cosmic Champs anyways. So it's not that bad of a weakness. And on champions that don't generate buffs or only get like 1 buff, like, that's totally fine. And he just totally locks down their health bar. And like, normally, you know, that's great. But, you know, when they regen, if they try to regen while heal blocked, you know, they then get power drained. And then when they're power drained through the signature ability, you degen them. And of course, my Warlock is Sig 200. But that's really only good for when they're regenning, right? But that's what makes Warlock just such a good PvP champion. Whereas I think his value goes down a lot in PvE. So what that means is, like, player versus... what does E mean? Is it environment? Actually, don't even know. I think it might. PvP, obviously, player versus player, which I mean masteries. Because if the opponent has willpower, so we're talking like Battlegrounds, Alliance War, you know, they have the willpower mastery, that takes Warlock to a whole different level. If they can be bled or armor broken, you know, through your special 2 or your heavy attack, you can pretty much constantly take advantage of their willpower healing and just keep power draining them and degenning them, and it's insane. But, you know, in like act content, story content, there's no willpower. So I think that makes Warlock's usefulness go down quite a bit. But I think in areas where it's, you know, you're versing other players that have their masteries equipped, that's like a absolute game changer for Warlock. But yeah, I didn't want to put him any higher on this list because I love Warlock, I really do. And he does what he does, I think, better than anyone. But the champions above him on this list can just do a lot more things. That's unfortunately why I can't put Warlock any higher. But love this guy, he's a legend, and I think he'll always have a really solid use in Marvel Contest of Champions. Okay. Coming in at number 3, this is where things get really tough. So, number 3 and number 2 are going to be Nimrod and Omega Sentinel. Now, it's totally going to depend who you ask for which one is the second best tech champion, which one is the third best tech champion. And it's a very interesting debate. I feel like I'd say the majority of the community think that Nimrod is better. And that's fine. That's totally fine to think. And I get it too, because Nimrod, like, really shines in Alliance War, you know, Battlegrounds. Those health pools are just so perfect for him that, you know, like, 1 special 2 against a mutant, boom, he melts them. But I personally think Omega Sentinel is just a tiny, tiny bit better than Nimrod overall, outside of mutant-specific matchups. I think if we're talking, like, who's better at just destroying mutants, it's Nimrod, no debate. no debate. You won't hear a word out of me on that discussion. If we're just talking about who's the better mutant killer, I think it's Nimrod. And so I think Nimrod, I'm going to put him at the number 3 spot. I think Nimrod is absolutely insane. I think he is such a good tech champ. I think he is the Human Torch of the tech class, you know, for countering his class advantage, which is obviously mutants, where Torch is mystics. But I think outside of those matchups, Nimrod falls off a little bit. And I think Omega Sentinel can overall just do more. Also, like I said, Nimrod, he's so perfect for those Alliance War health pools, those Battlegrounds health pools. So you see the gameplay, and you just see him melt stuff in 1 Special 2, and you're like, damn, like, dude, that's so good. And it's a tad deceiving, just a tad deceiving. Because if I were to show you gameplay of Nimrod and Omega Sentinel in Abyss of Legends, for example, dude, Omega Sentinel would make Nimrod look like trash. She would so outshine him in that type of content, because her damage, you know, it's not bursty and like that. It's, you know, you can lock it in. You set it up, lock it in, and you can just keep it locked in for the rest of the fight. So in a long-term fight that goes more than like 30 seconds, you know, her damage really takes off. So it totally depends, you know, where these two champions are being showcased. But of course, medium to shorter fights get showcased way more, and it obviously makes Nimrod look really good. And I'm not saying he's bad. I'm not trying to crap on Nimrod at all. I put him above Warlock, so that should really speak volumes to how good I do think Nimrod is, because I took Warlock to rank 4, and I don't even have Nimrod at rank 4. But that's part of the thing. Like, I think Nimrod, you know, he doesn't need rank 4 as much, because even at rank 3, you know, he's melting those health pools. And I really do love Nimrod. I definitely got to do a gameplay video on him now that I got him awakened. I haven't done that yet, so it's definitely on the list. Definitely, maybe once I use him more as well, maybe I'll start to like him even more. Maybe even like him a little bit more than Omega Sentinel. Who knows? We could see. Opinions change for sure. So yeah, I definitely want to do more with Nimrod, see more with him. Maybe I am sleeping on him a little bit, but it's okay, because it's my opinion, my list, right? Now, coming in at the number 2 spot, we have Omega Sentinel. So, I did take Omega Sentinel to rank 4 over Nimrod. I do like her a little bit more. Also, you know, prestige is a factor, and she does have the higher prestige. So, you know, that was a reason why I took her rank 4 over Nimrod. But, you know, I don't know. Maybe I should have ranked 4 Nimrod, you know, because he does synergize so well with Kitty and Kitty, Tiger, Nimrod. That team would cover so much ground. But I don't know, it's just something about Omega Sentinel that I really like. I find her to be very safe, and actually even tankier than Nimrod. And I'd say one of my big reasons why I prefer Omega Sentinel over Nimrod is because of her kit. There's so much stuff in her kit, and one thing specifically that I think is a real game changer for Omega Sentinel versus Nimrod. For example, you know, like I already said, Nimrod outclasses Omega Sentinel when it comes to killing mutants. That doesn't mean Omega Sentinel is bad at killing mutants. She is still one of the best mutant killers in the game. However, the edge goes to Nimrod. I'm no question about it. However, what is another really class of annoying champions to fight? Mystic champions. Why are they so annoying? Mystic dispersion is crazy. You know, Nimrod, I wouldn't want to bring him against Mystic champions, because, you know, he gets a lot of armor buffs, and then they fall off, and they can feed Mystic dispersion. But Omega Sentinel, that's a really, really cool and neat thing about her, man. Where is it listed in her abilities? But she's just immune to Nullify, to Fate Seal, to Stagger. Here it is. Always active. So her adaptive body grants her immune to Nullify, Stagger, and Fate Seal effects. So that's insane. You never have to worry about your buffs falling off, first of all, because they're permanent armor buffs. They can be consumed, but consuming them, you know, doesn't give power for Mystic Dispersion. But they can never be nullified off you. This also allows her to tackle stuff like Buffet, or, you know, Power Snack. These nodes that, you know, nullify buffs and punish buffs and stuff. she's just totally immune to all that. I think that is such a strong ability, dude. That is such a strong ability to have. I remember this was first introduced on Thing. That was one of the reasons I liked Thing and thought he was just such a tank, because he had all these unique immunities. First champion to be immune to nullifying stuff. Now a tech champion with a bunch of buffs has this. Like, the contest has come a long way. And I think Omega Sentinel just takes such good advantage of that. Also, if you have her at signature level 200, you can get a lot of energy resistance, which is amazing, dude. Her signature ability, I'd say, is pretty underrated. Once I really understood her signature ability, I'm like, okay, like I have no qualms pumping her to Sig 200, because first of all, prestige, but also like the signature ability actually seems worth it. So that's pretty great. So for each armor up that is consumed by a special attack, there's a 50% chance for Omega Sentinel to gain a new armor up. So on your specials, you use these armors, and you don't really want to use those armors because they can also be a safety net. If you get hit, you can consume the armors and auto block. And this happened to me in Alliance War. It saved my bacon. Also, you can literally get hit by special 3s and barely even take damage. I was taking special 3s from rank 4 champions in Alliance War, unboosted, and I still had above 50% health, like with ease. Like it's insane how tanky she is, and I just absolutely love it. The safety net's built in on her, the debuff pausing through her heavy and ending on a light combo. So I hear some people complaining about this. I really don't have an issue with her debuff pausing or anything. I find it pretty easy. I love that there's 2 ways to do it. If it was only through heavy attacks, then we'd have a big issue. But being able to still lock those debuffs in with just a combo ending with a light is great. You can change your playstyle. She is not immune to bleed and poison debuffs, but she is fully resistant to them. But she still gets them applied, and then she gets a regen buff. So unique way for her to heal. But what I also love about her is just her selectability. You can start with whatever pre-fight you want. All of her pre-fights apply a debuff that is very meta relevant in the game, I would say. So we have 3 different types of debuff. Heal block. You can never go wrong with heal block. That's a wonderful debuff to be applying. Tracking, brand new debuff that she brought into the contest herself. Totally counter miss, which is pretty sick. And then cowardice, which is great for countering these mutant champions like Kitty Pryde that just popped up and they don't have a counter. This was the only counter. So I actually just fought a Kitty Pryde in war today with Omega Sentinel, and it was so nice and easy. It was actually on a power snack node as well, which was great because I'm immune to the nullify. We just rinsed her. So yeah, man, I really think Omega Sentinel, second best tech champ in the game. There's just so much that she can do. I think Nimrod kills mutants better, but I think outside of those specific mutant matchups, I just give the slight edge. This is a slight edge to Omega Sentinel. I think both these champions are like 99.99999s out of 100. I feel like they're basically equal. It comes down to who you ask, to who people to see what champion they like more. And of course, Nimrod has been out longer, so people have played with Nimrod more, and there's more gameplay on him. And like I said, his damage is so bursty that it makes sense that people rate him higher and like him more. I just think Omega Sentinel needs some more time, and I'm sure she'll be aging like a fine wine one day. But speaking about aging, we have our number 1 best tech champion in the game. But before we say that, a couple of honorable mentions. Penny Parker, absolutely phenomenal champion, both offensively and defensively, even better defensively, but she is really good on attack as well. She didn't quite make the list though, and another champion that didn't quite make the list, unfortunately, is Guillotine 2099. I think Guillotine 2099's value in the contest has just dropped severely since she came out. I think Abyss was the big killer of Guillotine with the charges, because before Abyss we had Labyrinth. I literally did an entire path in Labyrinth with Guillotine. And I didn't use I got to Maestro without having used a single revive at that point. And it was easy. She's so good for that long form content. But once you put in the, Abyss caps, it just completely neutered her. And you just really don't see Guillotine being talked about or used anymore, which is very unfortunate. Because she has possibly like the greatest damage in the game fully ramped up. But there's just no place in the game currently that can handle her like that. Maybe one day. But until that day comes, gotta leave her off this list. And the real best tech champ in the game, Ghost. Ghost has been the best tech champion in the game. She's been the best champion in the game since she came out, man. She's been regarded as that for a long time. Ghost is just an absolutely game-breaking champion. It is absurd. Like, we just had the mutant episode. You know, Kitty Pryde was number 1. You know, Ghost was the Kitty 1.0. If the Kitty we have right now is Kitty 2.0, Ghost was the original version. You know, the first champion to really be this OP critting, big specials, unblockable specials, phasing champion. You know, Ghost was the first one. She pioneered that. So you got to put respect on her name. The problem is, with Ghost is just, you know, she's synergy reliant, which is the big reason why I don't play her nearly as much anymore. Just sacrificing those spots for synergies. They're worth it. They're totally worth it. It's just kind of annoying to have to sacrifice 2 spots. But if you do sacrifice those 2 spots with Wasp and Hood, then it's insane. You get unblockable specials, and you also take no damage while phasing. 2 things that Kitty Pryde has built into her kit. But once Ghost has them, she's a whole new beast. But even without all that, Ghost still has an insane kit. You know, fully max sig. All you literally have to do is take more hits into your phase, and you just build power so fast. It's just such a unique and cool way to have like a passive power gain, essentially. You know, when you think of like a power gain champion, you think of, you know, Cosmic Ghost Rider with his power gain buff, or Doctor Doom with his power steal. You know, like that's what you usually think of. But Ghost, no, you just stand there and let them hit into you, and you gain power. Very powerful way to gain power. Being max sig is huge, and it's 5% per hit. And champions that like Quicksilver that just come out that have 13 hit combos, you know, or any champion that has multiple hits in their combo, more than the usual standard 5, you just get a certain amount of power, and it is wonderful. Ghost also really showcased, Ghost and Corvus both showcased us how crazy these class boosts are. The Cosmic and Tech ones are probably the 2 most used. I'd say, actually, definitely the 2 that were used mainly the most when, like, for Ghost and Corvus. Like, these are those 2 champions made using these power back boosts like really relevant. You know, now we have a lot of other champions that can benefit from them, like Apocalypse, Kitty with the mutant class. But I feel like Tech and Cosmic, like Corvus and Ghost, these were the special cycling champs, you know, that really showed that playstyle. And it's insane because Ghost can get the power gain, boom, you get special 2, you throw it, another special 2, throw it, another special 2. Like, that's part of the reason how I became Mythic, was just using Ghost and a lot of CGR as well, for my Mythic run. And they're just so fast, so much damage, insane. I think the other reason that Ghost will just always be just so insane is I think comes down to 2 things, really. The first one being that she can turn any damaging overtime debuff into a Fury. That is so insane. And any damage overtime debuff, she can just get rid of it and turn it into more damage. So Bleed, Poison, Degen, Incinerate, Cold Snap, it doesn't matter. Rupture, doesn't matter. Turn them all into Fury. That ability right there still is so crazy to this day. And the other crazy ability, I mean, she has guaranteed crits, which are really great. You can pretty much crit 100% of the time if you play it right. That's all well and good. She can gain buffs to hit even harder. That's all well and good. But the main thing that just makes Ghost so strong is just her ability to create openings. All you literally do is dash back, you phase, and they hit into your phase, and you have a free opening. This makes it so that you don't have to intercept, you don't have to bait heavies, you don't have to parry. This changes everything. And that's why Ghost is so powerful, because she can just create her own openings, and she cannot be evaded as well. So it's very strong evade counter on her guaranteed crits, which, like I said, can be all the time. We all know Ghost is the best, but it's been a while since I talked about Ghost, so honestly, it's good to talk about her again. But yeah, guys, that was going to do it for this top 5 best tech champions. A couple other honorable mentions that didn't quite make it. You know, Guardian at max sig is an absolute beast. He just didn't quite make the list. And Rocket Raccoon is going to be getting a big update this year, so I hope he becomes an absolute banger. And yeah, I mean, Nebula's cool too, but I don't think she quite makes top 5. Also really like Hulkbuster, but again, I don't think he quite makes top 5. Yeah, that's going to do it for the list. So Ultron, number 5. Warlock, number 4. Nimrod, number 3. Mega Sentinel, number 2. And Ghost still reigning supreme at that number 1 spot. So guys, that is going to do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you agree, if you disagree. Can't wait to hear all the people tell me that I'm crazy and Nimrod is better than Omega Sentinel. Can't wait to see those comments. I know they're coming. I look forward to seeing them. That's going to do it. Hope you guys enjoyed. If so, just drop a like, leave me a comment. That helps me and the channel out so much. Seriously, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoy. Peace out.